All right, we're back. Graveyard Shift Movie Podcast, episode number 123. This week, we're continuing our watch through of all the Chuckies with Seed of Chucky from 2004. We're in the 2000s, Tyler. Y2K's happened. All the computers crashed. Funny enough, I think I talked about the big gap in movies between Child's Play 3 and Bride.
Yeah.
But I think this might have been the same between Bride and Seed, because I think Child's Play 3 was 92, and then Bride was 98. So that's 6 years. And then this is 6 years between 98 and 2004. So, I don't know. I guess maybe that's just how they're vibing. It's just taking 6 years to get a movie done. But yeah, we're watching Seed of Chucky, the follow-up to the hit Bride of Chucky. This would also be the last Chucky movie to be in theaters before the remake came out, because the next two movies are straight to video Chuckies. All the same people, but this movie kind of bombed, so they just stopped putting it in theaters. And this is the worst reviewed movie out of the entire franchise. This is usually the one that people claim is the worst movie of the franchise. But I disagree. I don't think it is. I think Bride is much worse, mainly because of the main couple in that movie. They're just so annoying. I hate them. So yeah, I mean, this isn't good. I'm gonna give it a 4 because I gave Bride a 3, and I think this is better than Bride, so it gets a 4. I think, Tyler, correct me if I'm wrong, because maybe you could make the argument that in Bride they were, but I think this is the first time that it's straight up like Chucky, Tiffany, and their child are the main characters of the movie. Like, there is no, like, sure, Jennifer Tilly and Redman are in it and stuff, but they're not the main characters. They're just sort of there as a plot point.
I think you can make an argument that Jennifer Tilly might be main character, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and I was trying to I was like, well, Bride maybe, because they were definitely on screen a lot more, but I was like, no, I think you gotta say that main couple was the main character of the movie. But I think now we're in the point that this was Chucky and that whole family were the main character. Yeah, and I think that's the only time it happens, because from in Cult and Curse or whatever, it goes back to like there's a main character and stuff. So, but yeah, I'm gonna give it a 4. Better than Bride. I still think Bride was the worst movie of the franchise. Yeah, Tyler, what are you giving Seed of Chucky, the classic?
This was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
Ever?
It was really, really bad.
Worse than Stay Out of the Attic?
Yeah, I would say so. But like having Jennifer Tilly play 2 parts, like, who thought that was a good idea?
Listen.
I mean, I get what they're going for, but like, I didn't even buy her playing herself. That's how bad of an actress she is. Like, when she was on the screen being her, I was like, don't buy it. Like,
my favorite part is how she acts as Jennifer Tilly in this movie is how you perceived her in real life the whole time. And I was like,
still do.
He'll like this, and then he's like, bad.
Like, that's who she really is, I think.
No, yeah.
We can argue that later. But I didn't like how it just was. I could go into it, but it's like a little spoilery. But it's just, I don't know what the word contrived means, but I feel like
you're gonna use it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like it was trying to make fun of itself, but not at the same time, and it was like slapsticky but dumb.
Well, it wasn't.
Know.
There's a running joke throughout the movie that I simultaneously hated it, but at the same time I couldn't help but be like, so I'll say that when we're in spoiler.
I don't know, like I'm not a trans fella, you know, like I'm a guy. I feel like this is kind of a super offensive movie. So I don't know. I feel like I don't know. You're probably gonna have to edit this, but like I feel like this is when you watch like stuff from like the 20s and it's super racist, and then when you watch it like modern day, you're like, ooh yeah, you can't be saying this shit. What the fuck? And I feel like this was like at the beginning of the trans era, so like they were making jokes and poking at it. I don't know.
Well, the weird thing, well, not the weird thing, but Don Mancini, who has been the writer and creator of all this shit, and this is the first time he directed the movie, and I think he took over directing from this point on. The next two, or him directing two, but Don Mancini is a gay man, and so he has said that the character of Glenn or Glinda was kind of his own struggle of coming out, and like his the inside and the outside. So that character is more of just a character of a gay man's trying to figure out how he wants to live his life. But I guess it could also work for trans. But they like to say, gender fluid and stuff for Glenn or Glinda. To me, it kind of seemed like there was more multi-personality disorder going on. Because Glenn and Glinda were clearly two different people. And one of them was much more violent and, extravagant than the other one. And so I took it, it's more like, watching it again, I was like, this seems more of like a multi-personality thing going on here.
Oh yeah, I mean it's just like I said, it was kind of weird. I don't know, like, I mean, this movie had other very bad issues, but to me, that's just what I was like, what?
I don't know.
Like, this is, like, I don't know.
From my knowledge as well, I think this is the last time that Glenn or Glinda pops up. I don't think they weren't in any of the other movies, and they weren't in season 1 of Chucky. Chucky references them. He says that, he's got a queer kid, gender fluid, and that's the line. And I haven't watched season 2 yet, so maybe he's in season 2, or she. Whichever. Well, I guess, we can't say that, a spoiler. So, anyway, what were you going to score this movie? You never gave it a number.
I'm going to give it a 1.
Oh. For number 1?
Yeah. There's not enough killing in it. You see a lot of bodies, but it's...
Yeah, well, I mean, part of the main story is Tiffany trying to convince Chucky to quit killing, and as soon as I heard that, I went, oh no. I was like, the best part is when he starts killing people. We just have him, not killing people.
Yeah, so it's like, we're just watching a movie about dolls. This is Toy Story.
Yeah,
the weaker version of Toy Story.
I've been going through the Dexter books, and I think the last book, he just had a baby, and so he was like, I'm gonna stop killing people. So it was a 500-page book, and he wasn't killing anyone for like 430 pages of it. And I was like, oh man, because usually there's always like the one or two like just normal killers that he kills, and then there's like the big bad guy who he's hunting throughout the thing or whatever. But yeah, in this one he was like, I'm not killing anyone, I'm a dad now. And I was like, kill someone, please.
Or him killing to like protect his secret, right? Like stuff like that. But yeah. And it's but that's kind of the build up, right? You read that whole thing waiting for him to kill somebody, and then he just never does.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of the books he finally gets the big bad guy, and then like just like his sister will jump in and like shoot him. And he's like, oh man. My favorite one, there was a book, they were hunting the guy who stabbed Deborah, and she almost died and stuff, and she was in this coma. And so Dexter and her boyfriend, who's this older guy, went to Cuba to go find him. And the guy had a gun, and Dexter was like, I thought we were just coming to find him. And the guy was like, nah, we're coming to kill him. If you're not down with that, you can leave. And Dexter was like, well, I guess if you want to kill him. I laughed so fucking hard when I was reading that. So anyway, didn't mean to get off on a side tangent of Dexter books, but you know. All right, well, hey, spoiler warning for Seed of Chucky, from 2004. We're gonna ruin everything about it, so you've been warned. First off, right off the bat, I just want to say that I think, throw plot or anything aside, I think this might be my favorite Brad Dourif performance as Chucky. I don't know. It seemed like every line he was just killing that shit. Like I felt like he was into it more than in previous movies. Yeah, I don't know. I just thought he really nailed it this time around. So especially he would have a couple of the near the end, when everyone's yelling, and he's like, "Everyone, shut the fuck up!" He just starts, going off on these monologues and stuff. I don't know. I just wanted to give props to Brad Dourif in this one. I thought he was on top of the ball. So, I also liked whoever was voicing Glenn or Glinda. I thought that weird English voice or whatever was fucking, I don't know. It was weird, yeah.
How did he end up in England? How is this?
Well, there's one throwaway line to explain how he got there, which when his owner comes in and he's like, "Listen, if you keep acting up, I'm gonna take you back to that cemetery I found you in Chicago or whatever." And that's your only line is apparently, and I think the guy adds you tried to chew my neck out or something. So apparently that guy stumbled upon Glenn or Glinda in the fucking cemetery.
It's called G from now on, right?
G, yeah. Well, I was gonna say we could just call him Glenn because I mean he is Glenn for 95% of the movie, but yeah, we'll call him G. Yeah, and so that's your one line about how he got to England, and now he's in ventriloquist contest, and I saw that and I was like, Jeff Dunham must be a fucking legend. He's just going over there with Peanut, and he's that was a solid Peanut. Do you know Peanut?
No.
If you knew Peanut, you would be like, goddamn, Thomas, that was the best impression you ever did. But you know Jose Jalapeno on a stick?
No,
damn.
I'm not up to date on my ventriloquism.
Yeah. Ahmed, the dead terrorist.
You keep saying his name, and I don't know any of these
I'm
people.
hoping one of them pops up. But yeah, and so that's how he's over there in England. But so that's your one little throwaway line. I guess the movie starts off. Well, first off, it starts off with the opening credits accompanied by just watching sperm just swimming, going into the egg and making a baby and all that good stuff. And after that we open up into it's this kid's birthday. And you see that he's the little brother of this family or whatever. And they they get a present. And the present, we don't see it. It's first person from the present's
point of view.
Yeah. So it's one of the things where it's oh, it's Chucky, because they've done this with Chucky before, but so everyone goes to sleep. The present, still first person point of view, gets out of the present. They're oh, look at this ugly fucking thing. The whole time they're just look at how ugly he is. He grabs a fucking kitchen knife. And I feel like we were watching Halloween again, where it's just it's totally an homage to the opening of Halloween, the first one, with him walking up the stair to the sister's room or whatever. Also, can I just say, I don't know if you remember it, Tyler. Me and Tyler both watched this movie a week ago, so forgive us if we're trying to remember stuff. But if you remember, he got that knife out of the birthday cake that was sitting there. And that birthday cake, it was maybe 2 pieces missing out of the cake. And then they just left the whole cake sitting out. And I was like, what kind of a fucking animal just has 2 pieces missing from a cake? That whole cake's supposed to be gone by the end of the party. Not in my family, Thomas. Wait, Tyler. You're Tyler. I'm Thomas. um, so yeah, he's going up. He's going up the stairs. Fucking. Eventually, the dad like comes out and sees him on the stairs, and he does. Also, I enjoy the whole time he's walking. It reminded me of Puppet Master. It sounded like he was like Blade when you get first person of Blade walking around, and he's like, oh, making those little noises and shit. And so when the dad comes out, he's like, oh, and he like acts like he's a doll. He does the Toy Story flop, and the dad thinks that the daughter like brought the toy up here, and he's like, I thought I told you not to take this doll up here or whatever. He's like, man, you are really ugly, and he's like holding him so the doll is looking at him, and then the next thing you know, the doll starts stabbing him in the neck, and the dad stumbles and like breaks through the guardrail at the top of the stairs and falls down, and we fall like with him as we're stabbing him, and I thought that was pretty cool. I like that.
Dude, it's all downhill from there.
Oh yeah. Well, no, because yeah. So then he goes back upstairs, and the mom is in the shower taking a shower, and he rips the shower curtain back and starts stabbing her, and there's titties and stuff. To this day, that's the only titties in any Child's Play movie. Never happened again. So shout out to that lady. Only titties in Child's Play. And so she falls down, and yeah, she's dead, And so finally he makes it into where the little girl is sleeping, and he goes to stab her under her blanket, but it turns out she just like stuffed the pillow under there, and then she's standing behind him, and he turns around and sees her, and she's like, look at you, you're ugly. And then he looks down, and we see that he's pissing his pants, and then the girl starts going, you're pissing your pants, you're pissing your pants, and just yelling at him, and it turns out that this was all part of an elaborate dream, and G wakes up. Oh,
what?
OneDrive wants to look back at your memories from November 11th. Get that out of here. G wakes up, and the dream was fake, but the pissing is real. He's really pissing himself, and his owner is there, and it's like, hey, you're pissing yourself, get up, you fucker. So yeah, anyway, so this is when we see that he's owned by this guy. This guy found him. He takes him out. There's this ventriloquist contest. They do a whole shtick and act and stuff. And the guy's like, yeah! And he's dressed up in like rock star apparel and like black leather and all this shit. And
kind of reminded me of the emo goth boyfriend from Bride.
Bride, yeah, a little bit.
The guy who, I was like, they get the same guy? And no. I was like, no, I just didn't pay attention in the movie.
Yeah. Except for, also, spoiler, and unlike that guy, this guy stays alive. Which is fucking...
You don't know that.
What do you mean?
I mean,
he could have died, by himself afterwards, so the show gets done. He gets put back into his cage and shit. And as he's there, he's like, I miss my parents. And he's like, I wonder what I really am. And he's like, but I do know at least a couple things about me. He's like, I got, black hair, all this. And then he looks down at his arm and he goes, and I'm Japanese, because it says made in Japan on his arm. And every time he looks down at his arm and sees the made in Japanese or made in Japan thing, it just does like a super racist, like, bong, and like Japanese music in the background.
I know I'm an orphan. I know I'm a freak. And of course, I know that I'm Japanese. But why do I have such terrible nightmares?
And it's like, oh, okay. And that's the running joke throughout the movie that I said I simultaneously hated, and at the same time I couldn't help but be like, and so he's like, I wonder where my real parents are. And as he says that, we transition into Santa Claus walking through the snow, and he's on the phone with like his girlfriend, and she's like breaking up with him over the phone, and he's like, you fucking bitch, and so he drops down his bag of presents, and out of the bag comes a knife, and it cuts out. And out of the bag is Chucky, and he's sitting up against one of the. He's also in a cemetery for some reason, you know, and so Chucky's like sitting up against the gravestone, and the guy turns around and sees him, and he like walks up on him, and he's looking into Chucky's eyes and shit, and in Chucky's eye, we see Tiffany walking up behind the guy, and then Chucky like blinks, and the guy's like, "What the fuck," you know? So they like cut his neck, they jump on top of him, and they start fucking stabbing him. What is Chucky saying over and over again? He's like, I love stabbing, or something like that.
I don't remember. Yeah, but he just keeps saying it. He goes, "Time to die" or something. Or I don't know. Yeah. But he's like, "Time to die, time to die, time to die," and he just keeps stabbing down.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's stabbing down and shit, and then it ends up being the guy's like, Chucky's broke again, and it turns out we're on the set of a new movie about Chucky the killer doll. Or should I say the myth, the urban myth of the killer dolls, as a news reporter on set says, because the crime scene from the end of Bride, with the cemetery and the cops dead and all that stuff, those two dolls were found there, those two dolls. And so it's been this urban myth that these two dolls were the killer. And so now they're making a movie about it. And it just so happens that they got Jennifer Tilly to voice the doll in the movie. Which, you know, Jennifer Tilly is obviously Tiffany in real life. They never mentioned who voices Chucky. And I was like, well, why didn't they have Brad Dourif be in the movie too? Like, as he is, to be like, oh yeah, I'm Chucky, you know? But I guess they didn't think about that one. And so they're filming a movie about Chucky. Fucking Jennifer Tilly is talking to like her agent or just her friend, either way, but they always are talking about business.
The lady or on the phone?
The lady in front of her.
Yeah, she's the personal assistant.
Okay. And she's like, yeah, you know, I could have gotten Aaron Brockovich, and I could have did a better job too. But you know why Julia Roberts got it? Because she slept with the director. You know. Oh God, my ear! I just went deaf.
What happened? Maybe you just went deaf. What are you talking
about? My ear. It did that thing where it goes quiet and then starts ringing. You know what I mean?
Tinnitus.
Oh yeah. So she's complaining about Julia Roberts, and then she's like, I want a role. What's a role I can really sink my teeth into? And jokingly, her personal assistant or whatever says, "Well, I got this role. Redman is directing a movie, and he's looking for someone to play the Virgin Mary." And she kind of giggles, and Jennifer Tilly's like, "Oh, that's perfect." And the girl's like, "What?" And she's like, "Yeah, set me up a meeting with Redman." And so yeah, that's
it. Took everything I had at this point not to turn off the movie.
What you got against Redman, man?
Everything.
Just everything?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jennifer Tilly, first of all. And then I saw this is where this movie was going, and I went,
You don't like Jennifer Tilly? I had no idea.
No.
So, as that happens, we then cut over to that same news reporter, like, interviewing Chucky and Jennifer Tilly. And she's like, "Thanks for talking to us." And Chucky's like, "Fuck you very much," And it zooms out, and as Chucky's waving, we see the Made in Japan thing, and so does G. And so they're like, "Oh, fuck. That's my papa." Because the Made in Japan, it's gotta be, my papa. So he's like, I gotta get to my dad or whatever. So then the owner comes back, and he's like upset about something. So he takes a rat and sticks it inside of the cage. And I think, if I remember, the whole thing is he wants the G to embrace his killer instinct because of, you know, what was happened at the cemetery and stuff. I'm not sure why. Maybe he's planning on using him to, like, kill people or something. But so he wants him to kill the rat. But the G just ends up, like, petting the rat, and he's like, "Oh, look at you," you know?
Yeah, he's like, "What a nice little animal."
Yeah. And then the guy reaches in the cage, and the rat bites him, and so G uses this opportunity to fucking get the fuck out of here. And my favorite part of the fucking movie happens, which is G running down the road to a garbage truck. And it is the best 2004 CGI run doll animation I've ever seen in my life. And it's great. And the dude comes running behind him. But it doesn't matter. He's too slow. And so G manages to get on the garbage truck and get the fuck out of there. After that, we go back over to Jennifer Tilly, who's having an audition with Redman. And they're doing this whole table read together. And basically, she just has her tits out the whole time. And so Redman's just like looking at her tits. And then at the end, he's like, "Oh, yeah, you know, you're really good, but I think I'm going to go with my first choice." And she's like, "Well, who was your first choice?" And he goes, "Julia Roberts." And she's like, "All right, listen, I'll fuck you for the role of Virgin Mary, you know." Of course, she might put it a little more subliminally.
Yeah, eloquently.
Yeah, but, you know, we all know what she was going for. And so he's like, "Shit, all right," you know. And so they're going to meet up for, you know, dinner and, you know, all that good stuff later on so she can get the role of Virgin Mary. So then, somehow, G finds out exactly where this movie
production.
Yeah, because he boxes himself up and ships himself to the fucking, like, prop department of the movie studio. And then he's able to cut himself out, and he finds Chucky and Tiffany. And he's like, "Oh, Mommy and Daddy." He's like, "You know, I still have the necklace you guys left me," and it's the fucking amulet that they spent, that they spent all the last movie trying to get off of Charles Lee Ray's body. And so he's like trying to get them to wake up, but they're not waking up. And so then he's just like Asmodus Paratus, wake up. Somehow that works. And so I don't know how the fuck it works, because these are not the same dolls that Tiffany and Chucky were in. It's not like their soul is still in there. These are animatronics that they made for this movie. So how were those souls still in there?
Because he is the embodiment of both their souls.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, you got me on that one, Tyler.
Like, I was thinking the same thing.
Uh-huh.
And, like, you know, it was like a drop of blood or whatever in that one where it fell in the vat, whatever. But, like, I'm guessing this one. And the only reason I think it works, and no one ever really talks about this, but, like, Charles Lee Ray, isn't that his name?
That's his name.
Couldn't remember. I was like, Ray Charles? No. And I was going through
That's a different guy. That's just a rapist.
Is significantly like a voodoo master, right? Like, he has to be. High priest, whatever they call, you know, they got all these names for him.
Yeah.
So the son is like inherited his whatever son person.
Yeah.
You know, but so I'm thinking that's why that, and the medallion. So I'm guessing that's why his bullshit Asmudusu, here we go again. You know, like, worked out. So. Yeah.
He just plays Here I Go Again by Whitesnake on a fucking boombox. And that. All right, we're moving on from that joke. That one bombed.
It landed.
It landed. It was just a dud.
No, it's just wrong airport.
Yeah. So yeah, Chucky and Tiffany wake up, And they're like, oh shit, we're alive again, you know? And then they look over, and Chucky immediately is like, look at this ugly fucking guy. He just, not even knowing who he is, just immediately is like, look at this fucking asshole. And, you know, he's laughing at himself, and Chucky and Tiffany's like, oh, Chucky, stop, you know? And, yeah, he goes on for a little bit, and finally he's like, well, you gotta imagine what the parents look like that made him. And yeah, and as he says that, G raises up his arm, and we see the little Made in Japan thing, and Chucky goes, and looks down at his own Made in Japan, and you get a double bong gong or whatever, and Chucky's like, no fucking way, and G is like, mommy, daddy, and Tiffany is immediately like, oh yeah, and she like is all in on it. Chucky's like, no fucking way that you're our kid, you know? Yeah, so they're talking for a little bit, but then the guy in charge of the props or whatever comes walking in, and apparently there's something wrong with the Tiffany doll, because they're like, well, we need it working by this time or whatever, so you gotta work on it. So he takes Tiffany. Chucky and them are over there watching, and he puts Tiffany on a table, and he's like unscrewing her back. And meanwhile, Chucky's like sneaking around or whatever. And finally, he unscrews her back and opens it up, and we see like a whole skeletal system and like the organs and tissue and stuff in there. And they do say, it is a whole thing that when they're in these bodies, they become anatomically correct, and they grow organs and stuff inside. But they just came alive 10 seconds ago. So, whatever. It looked cool, so I'm not going to complain about that. But, yeah, and so he opens it up, and so Tiffany, like, turns her head around to look at him. And then Chucky takes, like, fishing wire, or just some type of wire, and throws it around his neck, so him and Tiffany each have one side, and they pull it and fucking cut his head off, and it goes shooting into the sky, and then blood shooting up in the air, and Tiffany and Chucky start making out under the blood. And G is over there, and he's like, oh my god. His fucking eye starts twitching. His eye always twitches anytime there's like violence or something going on. And yeah, I don't know. That was good. So go ahead.
Let me interrupt for a second.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
I don't know why you said it like a leprechaun, but all right. Was there not like a weird kind of rape feel when he was? Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. It was like I was like, what?
I had it too. Yeah, it felt weird. I don't know if that's what they went for, but
because like it like do a close up of her eyes, and she's like, oh, oh, and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Like this is kind of weird, guys.
I mean, also you wouldn't think it would hurt that much. Well, I guess it is screws being unscrewed from your flesh.
Yeah, but at the same time, she was like plugged in the back, and
yeah, and that
didn't how plugs work.
Yeah,
but there's a bunch of pins in there that stab into you. Right? You're stabbing to the outlet. So why didn't she react a little bit more?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I did get that rapey vibe. Like I said, I don't know if that's what they meant.
I think it was intentional, but I don't.
Might have been, But
while I was asking, I was like, maybe I'm just a weirdo.
Yeah, no, I got it too.
I am a weirdo.
Yeah. So after this is done, they finally are arguing about their child. And, Chucky's like, look, we have a son. And Tiffany is like, no, we have a daughter. And, I'm going to stop you right here because this does go into a whole, is it a boy? Is it a girl the whole time? And, they...
Like you said, you're going to stop me. And I'm like, what? I didn't...
Well, but my thing, right, this is just me being, and they, Tiffany's a very eccentric character and she's kind of out of it, But when you look at Glenn or Glenda, right, it doesn't look like a girl on the surface, I mean, just as they are, Like, I don't know how she got the, that's a girl from looking at G. At least,
it's weird because
not to
they
me.
Randomly pull his pants.
That's how they decide to find out. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's nothing there.
Smooth.
And then they go, oh, well, this is what it is then. And I'm like,
well,
guys,
no, isn't it? They pull his pants down and it shows both of their faces, and they just like, like their jaws drop or something. I don't remember. But yeah, he's a Barbie doll down there. He doesn't have nothing. So
I just know that a lot of I'm not even like classify them as trans people, but a lot of people who have feminine characteristics as a man or manly characteristics as a woman,
mm-hmm.
like this is like a really like soul crushing thing for them, right? Like, you know, Aerosmith wrote a song about it even.
I don't
So,
think that's
like,
what Dude Looks Like a Lady is about.
I might have missed the point of that song,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I had a friend, and I'll leave names out. It
No.
was this chick, and
Government.
everyone kept calling her sir, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and she would get so mad about it. And the guy at work, who everyone says yes ma'am to her when they're talking on the phone with him, and they get like really upset and like I don't want to say hurt, but like I don't know.
Yeah.
That's why this movie, I was like, the whole movie, I was like, man, this is something.
I had a chick when I was working a different job, and I was in the store, and like she was standing there and she was talking to like this older black lady in a writing chair, and the lady in the writing chair stopped me, and was like, "Hey, does she look like a dude to you?" And like looked over, and it was like this very good looking like blonde lady, and like maybe like late 20s, early 30s, and I was like, no. You know. And she was like, yeah, I don't know, people keep calling her sir or something like that. And you know, I was like, oh, I don't know what they're looking at, you know. And yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, all right, so now we fuck. And they both went away from me. I don't know what happened to that, but
Yeah, this took a twist.
yeah.
Oh, see now.
Yeah, and I was like, no, we fuck.
Yeah. All right, more of a rapey vibe going on.
So
Keeping with the content.
yeah. So he's smooth down there. So back.
What transition?
I'm gonna try to clip that as a short and just not put in the first part we were talking about. So at the end of that, it just cuts into, yeah, so he was smooth. So
He was devoid of genitalia.
yeah. So they're like, all right, well, what do we do now? You know? So Chucky's like, well, listen, clearly he's a guy. He just hasn't hit his growth spurt yet.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm gonna name him Glenn, you know. And Tiffany's like, what kind of name is that for a girl? We're gonna name her Glinda, you know. So they're still not sure, you know, what gender they are or whatever. Eventually, they hear someone coming in and they're like, oh, everyone stop, you know. And so Jennifer Tilly comes walking in, and there was a thing earlier where her personal assistant was like, oh, I'm proud of you for sticking to your diet, you know. They keep having this running joke about Jennifer Tilly being fat in this movie. And so Jennifer Tilly like sneaks in, and she goes over to Chucky and goes into his jacket pocket and pulls out a was it just a Mr. Good bar or a Mr. Good Guy bar? Because I was like, oh, Chucky's got his own candy bar now because the Good Guy dolls or whatever.
Don't remember, but yeah.
I think it might have been a Mr. Good Guy doll. I think they might have their own candy bars. And she's like, oh, come here, Mr. Good Guy bar. And so she's eating the chocolate bar. And so that's she's sneaking fucking candy or whatever. So yeah, as she's in here, Tiffany sees her and is just like, oh, Jennifer Tilly, you know, and slows down and all this shit.
Which is herself.
Yeah. So,
Like, it bugs me.
okay. So eventually, she sees like the decapitated head and she's like, oh man, it's so real looking. And then, finally she realizes it is real. And so she starts screaming. So we cut over to police being there. There's all these paparazzi and shit. And one of the paparazzis is John Waters. He's here just kind of being a weird guy. Jennifer Tilly's like going through all the paparazzi. We go over to her limo driver who's in the limo, and he's like practicing all these different ways to say I love you, Jennifer, and shit. And so you're like, oh, what's going on with, we're just like, oh, this must be, just a dude who's fallen in love with Jennifer Tilly because he drives her around. But then when she gets to the limo, she gets in and immediately starts making out with him. And so it's like, oh shit, I guess they're like a thing or something, And I guess kind of they are, but at the same time, not like official, or how the limo driver would want it to be. So anyway, so they take off. Somehow Chucky and Tiffany and G have gotten in the back seat, and they're like drinking champagne and shit as they're driving away. And so fucking G is like, oh yeah, I always wondered, about what you guys were like. I knew that we were Japanese. And this was because Chucky goes, we're not Japanese, we're from Jersey. But we went over how he was the killer in Chicago. Like he was a strangler. And I Googled it to, be sure. And Charles Lee Ray was a psychopath from Chicago, Illinois. And so that's where he was from. Now, eventually he does make his way to Hackensack, New Jersey. But they did most of their shit in Chicago. And so I was like, I don't know. I just thought it was weird that they're like, oh, we're from Jersey.
Well, okay, let me hit you with this
All right.
tidbit. Because, I'm a genius. And
Yeah.
not so much.
Yeah. Oh.
And Bride of Chucky, she pays him $300 to take him where?
Bride of Chucky, $300. They go to Chicago, isn't it?
Or are they in Chicago and then they go to Jersey?
I'm pretty sure they're in Jersey and they need to get to Chicago because that's where Charles Lee Ray is buried.
I don't know. That's what I'm asking. I don't know.
And then, because I think the guy even mentions, I'll take you back to that cemetery in Chicago I found you from. Anyway, let's see. Because I'm curious. I think the entire first movie took place in Chicago, and therefore also the second movie, because the second movie is still in the same.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe the second movie they moved Andy to New Jersey.
Yeah, but they still wouldn't be from New Jersey. They'd be from...
Yeah. Okay, let's see here. No, apparently Tiffany calls Jesse and asks him to take the $2 to Hackensack, New Jersey.
Hey.
So that's where he's buried.
But that's also where the kid is born. So if he says we're from Jersey...
Yeah.
The kid was born in Jersey.
I guess so. But anyway.
But why did they go to Jersey to begin with?
Well, that was where the body. Yeah, they needed the body.
Yeah, but
then
you don't relocate serial killers to plant them in their hometown.
Well, so doesn't that mean that they were in Chicago before all that because they needed to go to Hackensack?
Could have been, yeah.
Fuck.
So yeah, what you're saying is right.
Yeah. Anyway, so they're driving. Jennifer Tilly calls her personal assistant friend again and tells her that she's planning on fucking Redman to get her to get that movie, and the limo driver is like upset about it, and and then in the backseat Tiffany is like, oh my god, she's a slut, and so Tiffany and Chucky and them just move into Jennifer Tilly's house, and they live in like the attic, and they're putting G to bed, and he's asking them why they kill people, and he's like, I thought violence was bad, and Chucky's like, no, violins are bad, and I was like, all right, and this was when Tiffany's like, he's right, we're parents now, we need to stop, And Tiffany treats killing throughout this movie as an addiction like any other addiction. Like, she's going to, like, reading books of, like, steps to recovery, and, like, treating it as, like, a drug addiction. There's a point in the movie where she's thinking about killing someone, and she calls, like, a hotline to be like, I'm thinking about, using again or whatever. And can I just say what a terrible fucking job that hotline guy was? Because he's like, well, Rome wasn't built in a day. Sometimes we all have slips. And I was like, that's not what you're supposed to fucking say. You're supposed to be like, I know it, you feel like it now, but in the long run, and like try to talk him down. You're not just like, yeah, man, I shot heroin in my dick last week. You can do it anytime you want.
I think the way she phrased it, she was like, he had already slipped up. And the guy was telling her that, hey, when you fall off the horse, you got to get back on,
Maybe. But, either way. God damn it, Thomas, you fucking stupid. I tilted my phone and my notes.
Shoot heroin in your dick.
Yeah, my notes went to the side. Now I gotta scroll down them again and shit. Yeah, so anyway, Tiffany is like, we're not going to kill anyone. She's like, promise me, Chucky. And so he's like, okay, I promise. But then, he's got the fingers crossed behind the back. And so it's like, classic Chuck, you sly dog. So Chucky and Tiffany decide, because their whole thing always is like, all right, we're going to get our souls into a body. So they decide that they're going to take Redman and Jennifer Tilly's bodies. Those are their new bodies. But they now need a body for their child. So they come up with a plan to artificially inseminate Jennifer Tilly with Chucky's, his things. And so Tiffany sends Chucky into the bathroom with like a cup. She's like, all right, jerk off in here. We're going to, put it in her or whatever. And so she's about to leave. And Chucky's like, hey, you gonna help me out here or what? And so then we get doll titties, and that was pretty cool. And so she shows some doll titties. Chucky's like, all right. So then he's looking at the magazines, says like Penthouse, Playboy, all that shit. And eventually he gets over to Fangoria, and he's like, oh yeah, and he's like jerking off to all this gore and shit.
Have you seen one of those magazines?
Yeah.
Have you ever rubbed one out, the Fangoria?
I have not.
Oh, you in the minority, my friend.
No, yeah.
Me and Chucky got you beat, apparently.
All right.
Well, it's like super hot chicks, and they just have like zombie makeup on, right?
Yeah. No,
so it was just
I jerk off to the opening
cosplay.
of Goodfellas where they stab that guy in the trunk, and Joe Pesci is like, "Look at my eyes! Look at my fucking eyes!"
What is wrong with you?
Anyway, let's
well,
yeah.
But
so
I'm just saying, it was just hot chicks back in the day.
Oh, okay.
Kind of like cosplay porn or whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, Chuck's jerking off. John Waters is sneaking around the house taking like photos. And he's getting, like, the jackpot because Redman and her are perfectly framed in the one window in the middle of the house that just happens to be open and on the couch where they're sitting. And her and Redman, like, sit down for, like, a second before they just, like, start making out. Like, before they're even reading anything, Jennifer Tilly just, like, grabs them and they start making out and shit. And so John Waters' like, oh, yeah, and he's taking fucking, photos. And then as he's taking photos, he looks up at the top window and he sees Chuck jerking off, and and John Waters goes, "Oh my God, it's a masturbating midget." And he's taking photos and he's like, "Yeah, get it, little guy." And then he comes back down to where they're making out, and he sees Tiffany standing behind the couch, and he thinks it's another little person, and he drops the camera and looks up at the sky, and he goes, "Thank God for little people." starts taking more photos, and I was like, what the fuck are we watching? Like, it was so weird. And yeah, so Jennifer Tilly sneaks up behind Redman and hits him over the head with some trophy that she has. Wait, did I say Jennifer Tilly sneaks up? Tiffany sneaks up and hits Redman and knocks him out. Jennifer Tilly starts to run away, but eventually she like falls over. Or no, she doesn't fall. Tiffany fucking throws the trophy at the back of her head and knocks her out. And so now they have their two bodies knocked out, and they're like dragging them off to the bedroom. And as they're dragging them, Tiffany is like, "Fuck, she's fat," dragging Jennifer Tilly. Another Jennifer Tilly fat joke in this movie. So then, as they're doing all this, Chucky notices that John Waters was outside and saw all this. So he's like, "Fuck, we got a witness," So he tells G, he's like, "Come with me, we gotta go take care of this." So they steal Redman's Hummer, and they have G down there pressing the fucking pedal, and Chucky's driving and shit. And as they're driving, they get cut off. And when they get cut off, the license plate says Britney. And this blonde lady, who just so happens to be dressed how Britney Spears was dressing around this time, turns around and like flips him off. And so...
Was it not really Britney Spears?
No.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
I looked at the credits. It said Britney Spears.
It didn't. Because they had to go out and publicly say Britney Spears is not actually in this movie. Because part of the... It wasn't Britney Spears.
Did you see the license plate?
I saw the license plate, yeah. But, so... Yeah, so Britney Spears flips him off, and then they fucking drive her off the road, and her car goes over a cliff, and it blows up. And Chucky's like, "Oops, I did it again." So
now I know it's not Britney, really Britney. Can I change her score to a 0?
Oh, yeah.
The only...
Yeah, so anyway, somehow they know exactly where John Waters lives. I don't know how they knew it. Like, they weren't following him. He was long gone. They just, happen to know, I guess. So they get to where John Waters is at, and he's in this red room developing all these photos and shit. And Chucky is sneaking up behind him, and he's going to fucking kill him. But G jumps out at the last second and is like, "No," And John Waters sees him and is like, "Oh, shit." And he backs up into the wall full of just like all this acid and shit. And it dumps onto his head and melts his fucking face and shit and kills him. And Chucky is like, "Oh, yeah, that's my boy," But G is like, "No, I didn't mean to." Yeah. And he's like, "Come on, let's take a picture. Your first body." And they like take a picture of them with John Waters' dead body and shit. Yeah, and so, so back over Red...
Kind of sweet. They wanted it to be like a sweet moment, but it really fell flat.
Yeah. So Redman and Tiffany wake up. I think in the night they had already inseminated Jennifer Tilly before they left or whatever, and they were knocked out.
Yeah, she got knocked out in the tub with her legs spread wide open. And
Yeah. So, they both wake up. They're like, "Oh, man, what the fuck happened last night, And Jennifer Tilly's like, "Oh, my guardian angel came to me and, said all this shit to change her life or whatever." And Redman's like, "Cool, I'll see you later." He just leaves. So, what? Yeah, he leaves. Yeah, he comes back later, though.
Yeah, I had to think for a second.
Yeah. So this is when Tiffany starts reading these books about recovery and shit. And step 1 is to make amends with people you've hurt in the past. So she calls this lady and she's like, "Hey, I just want to say I killed your husband like 6 years ago and I'm really sorry about it." And the lady's like, "Why would you call here?" It's like crying. And Jennifer Tilly's like, "All right, have a nice day," and hangs up. And she's like, "I feel so much better." I kind of assumed that it was this guy, but I did look it up to confirm. She called the husband of that first cop that she killed in Bride of Chucky, who brought out Chucky, and she's in the back seat and she stabs him or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of cool that it's
Yeah.
actually a person. You know, like it's
Yeah.
not just a
So,
name.
so that's who she called. So time has passed now, and Redman and Jennifer Tilly are still like in a relationship, kinda, and having dinner. And at this point, she's found out that she's pregnant, and so she tells Redman this, and Redman's like, "All right, well, cool, but that ain't my baby. I had a vasectomy." And she's like, "What? You're the only person I've slept with." And he's like, "I don't know what the fuck to tell you. It ain't my baby, you know." And so he's like, "Regardless, you can't be the Virgin Mary now." And she's like, "Why?" And he's like, "'Cause you're pregnant." And Jennifer Tilly's like, "The Virgin Mary is pregnant." And he's like, "Yeah, but you know, I have a vision for her, and she's gotta be fucking hot, and you ain't gonna be that when you're pregnant or whatever." And he's like, "All right, you know, let me eat my dinner now." So Tiffany sees this happen, and so she's like, "That fucking pig." So this is what she's like, you know, she's trying not to kill him, and she calls the hotline and talks to him. We went over all that. And eventually she's like, "All right, you know, you can have a slip every now and then." So Jennifer Tilly takes a phone call and goes out of the room, and Tiffany sneaks in under the table and like looks up at him, and so he sees her, and then she like stabs him. I thought it was in the dick, which it might have been the first time. But eventually when we see, she's like disemboweled him, like cut his organs are falling out, they're all steaming and shit. Yeah. Yeah, and so she kills Redman. And G just happens to be standing there because they're back now and sees this. And she's like, "Oh, it's a slip, you know, don't worry about it." And his eyes twitching and shit. So Redman's dead. Jennifer Tilly still doesn't know this yet. Chucky and Tiffany are back upstairs watching the news. And there's this weird thing where Martha Stewart's coming out of a courtroom. And Tiffany goes, "Did you hear? They're executing Martha Stewart today." And it was like, what the fuck? So I don't know what Martha Stewart did in this lifetime, but it's not good. They're fucking killing her. Chucky, well, no, I guess. Oh, they hid Redman's body. I was like, how did she not know that Redman's dead yet? But they hid because he's in that closet later. So Chucky is like, "Fuck, I don't think I can take 9 more months of living in this fucking attic waiting for her to get pregnant." And Tiffany is like, "Ah, silly, it's a voodoo pregnancy. It's not 9 months, you know?" And so, like, the next morning, Jennifer Tilly wakes up and goes walking in the bathroom, and she's super, like, pregnant and shit. So she's freaking out. She calls her personal assistant, and she's like, "I'm fucking pregnant. This shit's weird." But Tiffany, also at this point, Jennifer Tilly is a suspect in the murder of that guy in the props room. Yeah. They think that she had something to do with it for some reason, so she's still under like suspicion. So that plays kind of a part in all this weird shit that's happening. But yeah, so she's pregnant and she's talking about all this shit. And Jennifer Tilly, or Tiffany, is like, "Oh, I can't let this lady come over." So she answers up, like, the other phone and starts talking as Jennifer Tilly. And, you know, so confusing the lady and shit. And Jennifer Tilly's like, "That's not me. That doesn't even sound like me." And Tiffany's like, "Yes, it does." And, you know, this whole scene. Eventually, Chucky sneaks up behind Jennifer Tilly and fucking grabs her. And as you know, and Jennifer Tilly is yelling and all this shit, and the personal assistant goes, "What's going on?" And Tiffany goes, "Oh, Bound is on. Gina Averson or whatever her name is finger banging me." It's like, oh shit. So yeah, so eventually they hang up. They get Jennifer Tilly tied up on the bed and shit. You know, they're like, "Hey, you're gonna have our baby, you know, I'm gonna put my soul into your body." And they start having arguments again about whether or not G is a boy or a girl. And this is when he's like, "Well, don't I get a say?" And they're like, "Yeah, go ahead." And he's like, "Well, I feel like a boy." And Chucky's like, "Yeah." And he's like, "But sometimes I feel like a girl." And Tiffany's like, yeah. And he's like, why can't I be both? And Chucky's like, no. Immediately, he like cuts it off. Yeah, but he's like, I'm not sure what I am, but I know for sure I'm not a killer. And that's kind of how that ends. But anyway, so they're having this whole argument, and this is finally when Chucky is like, fuck this. He's like, I'm tired of all this shit of us, coming back, trying to go into, put our souls into a person, all this shit. He's like, y'all can be sober if you want to, but, I'm Chucky the killer doll, and I fucking dig it. And he's like, I'm not going to stop killing. And then he, like, swings his hand back and hits the closet, and Red Man falls out, and this is finally when Jennifer Tilly sees that Red Man is dead and shit. And Chucky's like, oh, look at this shit, He's like, I guess you've been killing some people too. And Jennifer Tilly's like, it was just a slip, And so Chucky's like, well, regardless, what happened to my body? Because Red Man was supposed to be his soul. And so they were like, well, we'll just call the limo driver. And so Tiffany calls the limo driver, and it's just like, hey, why don't you come over? We can talk. And so it just cuts to the limo driver just tied up. He just, like, he doesn't even get a scene of getting caught. He's just immediately, tied up. So anyway, they're tied up. They're doing the whole seance shit. But the personal assistant got worried because of the phone call. So she shows up, and they hear her come in. So they, like, stop. And she's coming up the stairs, and eventually she comes in and sees them tied up on the bed. And Jennifer Tilly manages to spit out her gag and says, behind you. And then Chucky comes running up on her with, like, a knife. But out of the other hall comes running Tiffany with, hairspray and, like, a lighter, and sets her on fire. And so this lady's on fire, and she just kind of decides to crawl over the guardrail to the steps. And so she's on fire and falls over and lands and dies. So the personal assistant lady is dead. So then Tiffany is like crying and shit, and Chucky goes over and he's like, oh, calm down, Tiff. I got some bodies too. And he opens up another closet, and we see like 4 people that Chucky's killed off screen in this movie that he's been doing behind, their back or whatever. And he's like, see, you're not the only one. And then it turns around, and it's not Tiffany. It is Glinda, who is making her first appearance in the movie. On screen, I mean, she was in the opening. But Glinda, who's got some, like, makeup, and I think she put on nails and everything. And she's like, nah, Daddy, it's Glinda. That's my name. Don't wear it out, And this is what I mean by, like, it's more like a multiple personality disorder. Like, they're so completely different. So that's the whole thing, is, like, that's where all these dreams and stuff are coming from, is Glinda is the killer, and Glenn is, like, he doesn't want anything to do with it. So anytime Glinda comes out, that's the, like, the bad one. And so Tiffany is trying to get Glinda to go back to Glenn as soon as she becomes Glinda, even though she's, she finally has the daughter, but now she's trying to get her to go back or whatever. And eventually she, like, slaps her across the face. And there's this oddly sad moment where Glenn, who's now back, goes and looks in the mirror, and he's like, "What am I?" And I was like, "Oh." Like, it was just really like, oh god, this is, yeah. And so fucking that happens. So now Jennifer Tilly, the baby's coming, and so the baby comes out, and it's a boy, and Chucky's like, oh, thank god. But then fucking another baby, twins, and it comes out, and it's a girl, and Chucky's like, god damn it. So now I have these 2 babies, and they're arguing about which one to Glenn or Glinda is going to go in. And then finally, Tiffany's like, well, look, we have 2 babies, so why can't, he go in both? And you can have Glenn and Glinda, like, split, once again, the multiple personality disorder. It's like split the, I don't know. But they're going to split them and put them in 2. And this is fun. They keep arguing, and the babies are crying, and Jennifer Tilly and them are yelling. And, and finally, this is when Chucky's like, everyone shut the fuck up. And he's like, this is like a big moment for Chucky, because every movie has been him trying to put his soul into a body. And he's like, you know what? I'm fucking sick of it. He's like, we go through all this shit. What's so good about being human? You get old, you get sick. He's like, right now as a doll, I'm a fucking legend. I'm Chucky the Killer Doll, And he's like, I fucking like it. And so Chucky, at this point, is done trying to put his soul into other people's bodies. He's just accepted that he is this killer doll. And so at this point, there'll be no more him trying to transfer his soul. Except that's not true. Because, it happens later on in another movie. But to be fair, I don't want to get into it because it'll spoil stuff for you.
Yeah, whoa.
Yeah, I won't do that to you, Tyler. But yeah, so Chucky's like, and Tiffany's like, I don't know who you are anymore. I want to be Jennifer Tilly, and she's like, and so finally she's like, I'm leaving you and I'm taking the kids. And Chucky's like, nobody leaves me. And so, he starts to, attack her. Or no, he has a knife, and he goes to throw the knife at her, and for some reason, the fucking stupid limo driver gets up and takes the knife for for Tiffany. And I was like, why the fuck would you do that? And then he falls over, and he's dying, and he's trying to tell Jennifer Tilly that he loves her, and he still can't get it out. This guy just got fucking bitched out the whole movie, and he never got to tell Jennifer Tilly that he loved her. And then, he dies. So then Tiffany gets the knife, and she throws it at Chucky and, like, hits him, and he falls down. And the cops finally show up, and they see Jennifer Tilly and the babies and all that shit. So they get her out of there and get her to a hospital. Of course, they're only at the hospital for, like, 5 minutes before Jennifer Tilly and G are there. And they're like, hey, don't worry about it. We're just going to take, the bodies or whatever. But before they can do it, Chucky shows up. And he's doing The Shining, where he's cutting through the door with an axe. And he sticks his head in, and it's like this tense music, and he's sitting there, and then he goes, I can't think of a single thing to say. I did like that, because everyone's, you're like, oh, here's Chucky, or here's Johnny. And, and so he busts in. Or no, they're still trying to do the spell as he's cutting in. And finally, he gets in and sticks the axe into Tiffany's head. And so she's dying, and she says, like, she's talking to G, and she's like, don't be like me and your dad, especially not your dad, And she fucking, she dies. So then, G is like, and he gets angry, and so he starts fighting his dad, and turns into, like, this ninja shit, embracing those Japanese roots, and he, like, does a backflip over him, and, like, does all this fucking shit, and eventually he gets the axe and chops off Chucky's legs and shit, and goes, like, limb by limb chopping them off, and Chucky's, like, yelling, and he's like, Glinda, and G is like, no, it's Glenn, Daddy, it's your baby boy. He's, like, chopping them up. And he's like, are you proud of me? And Chucky's like, fuck yeah. He's so fucking happy. And finally, Glenn chops off Chucky's head. And so Chucky is dead. And he's sitting there crying. And Jennifer Tilly comes walking over and, like, is patting him. And he's like, it's okay. It'll be all right, And so then we flash to 5 years later. Where Jennifer Tilly is back at her home, and she's talking to, like, her maid, or, like, a babysitter, and the babysitter is telling her how Glenn is a really good kid, But Glinda, there's something wrong with her, and she's like, she scares me and shit. And both of these kids, I'm sorry, I know they put makeup on them, so I don't feel that bad about saying this. I hope they did. But both of these kids are fucking ugly. And I was like, God damn, they got the ginger, the bright red, like, they clearly took their dad's roots in the hair and everything. And so Glinda's like watching out the window and shit. And like watching all this happen. And the maid is like, I can't do this anymore. She's like, I quit. And so Jennifer Tilly's like, okay. So as she turns around, Jennifer Tilly, who's been holding the Tiffany doll the whole time, takes the Tiffany doll and bashes in the maid's head. And she looks over and sees Glinda watching. Glinda like smiles. And then we zoom in on Jennifer Tilly's eye, and it turns into like that bright green Tiffany eye. So apparently Tiffany at the end of when she was doing the spell worked, and her soul went into Jennifer Tilly's body. Even though there was that 2-minute scene of Tiffany dying and talking to Glenn, but I guess somehow the spell still worked. So Tiffany now has Jennifer Tilly's body. And we go outside, and we see Glenn, who's standing there, and it's the twins' birthday. It's their birthday party. And he's like, it's been a really hard time, and my dad, at least I knew my dad really loved me. And he still has the picture of when they burned the face of the guy or whatever. And, which I was like, oh, that's sweet, So then Jennifer Tilly calls Glenn over, and she's like, I got a present for you. And so he goes running over, and I feel it's weird that no one questions that Jennifer Tilly, it's her kid, and the kid's ginger, and the kid comes over and he goes, what is it, mommy? And like they have British accents, and no one's like, why do these kids have British accents? But yeah, he gives him a gift, and she's like, oh, it doesn't say who it's from, So he goes walking over, he opens up the box, and it's Chucky's arm in the box, and Glenn, his eye starts to twitch again, and then the hand jumps up and grabs Glenn by the fucking neck, and that's the credits, and that's the end of Seed of Chucky. There you go.
Good film.
Yeah.
I laughed, I cried.
I know.
I laughed and cried.
Yeah. The movie had a budget of $12 million. Made a
Did
box.
you see that coming, by the way?
What?
That it was Jennifer
Tilly,
or,
Well, I mean, I've seen the movie. I knew yeah.
Well, I mean, originally.
Oh, original. I don't know.
Sometimes you're a little oblivious to something.
What? I'm pretty sure was the first Chucky movie I ever saw. For some reason, I feel like this is the one they always play the most on like HBO and shit. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure this is the first one I ever saw. Because I remember Glenn and Glinda so much that I'm pretty sure that this is the one. But yeah, I mean, it does seem they kind of make it pretty obvious since Jennifer Tilly is holding Tiffany's doll the whole time, and it's like, well, why would she keep that? Yeah. But yeah, so anyway, this movie had a budget of $12 million, made a box office of $24 million. So I mean, it made $12 million, but for a big franchise like Child's Play, it was pretty much a disappointment. So like I said, they didn't have another one for a long time. Oh my God, did you hear my tummy?
No.
My tummy growled. Apparently this was also the only film in the series that doesn't mention Chucky's full name. Charles Lee Ray never mentions his name once. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, those are all the little facts I got. Let's do best of, worst of, Tyler.
All right.
My best of. Ironically, my best of is G running for the garbage truck. I laugh so fucking hard. Like, it just looks so bad. There, we didn't really mention it. I feel like there's more shots of CGI dolls in this movie than there has been in the previous ones. And maybe that's because we're in the 2000s now. But there's a lot of shots of, like, Chucky, like, creeping up behind people, and it's a CGI doll. Like, you can tell by how, but, I think maybe it's just because it's 2000s, and so, but yeah, Yeah, I would say Glenn running for the garbage truck is my favorite part of the movie. Worst of? I don't know. There's a lot to pick from, Tyler. I don't know. I might say the Britney Spears fucking getting driven off the road. Like, and especially the like cringy "oops, I did it again" fucking line. I don't know. I don't like it.
Bad.
Yeah, so that might be my worst of for the movie. So, Tyler, what's your best of, worst of?
All right, worst of is when Jennifer Tilly fires her assistant, which I don't even think we talked about.
We didn't.
But it's just a really awkward scene, and as I said, she's a horrible actress, so it's like, but yeah, the whole part, I was just like, Jesus, I don't watch it. Best of is I don't know. Like you said, Chucky's really good in this.
He's really good in this.
He doesn't have enough screen time.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I got a little cold, so I'm coughing a bit. But I don't know what the best part of this movie for me was the beginning when it was a movie and we didn't know.
The opening's pretty good.
Yeah, the opening.
God damn.
Don't say the whole opening sequence, especially when the doll malfunctions.
Yeah.
And it's like stabbing him repeatedly.
Uh-huh.
That's what I'm gonna go with.
All right. Well, there you go. Another Chucky movie down. The next one, what we'll be watching next week is Curse of Chucky, which, forget about the comedy stuff. We go right back to real horror Chucky. Like, it's not a comedy. There's a lot of dark shit in that movie too. So yeah, also the main star of it is Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's daughter. And she's been, so that's kind of cool. Yeah. So that's what next week is. I think that's about it. I'm trying to think. I felt like I had something to talk about at the end of the episode, like about a movie that we had watched recently, but I don't remember what it was.
Terrifier?
No.
Barbarian?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Something new coming out?
No.
New Scream?
No. None of this.
I'm just trying to think.
Yeah, no.
A different podcast
When does that Pearl movie come out on? It hasn't, because I was gonna pick it as a backup for Barbarian that one week because Barbarian wasn't streaming, but Pearl wasn't out either. So I was like, well, let's see. Watch movie. Let's see. You could rent it on YouTube for $20.
Release date September 16th, 2022.
That was when the movie came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about?
Yeah, I'm like streaming. Anyway, we'll watch that.
Movie theaters, yeah.
Yeah, we'll watch. I mean, technically we could watch it because it is streaming. It's $20. There might be other ways to. But yeah, because I want to watch that because those Mia Goth clips have been popping up, and I'm like, oh yeah, we haven't watched Pearl yet. So next week is Curse of Chucky, and then I think the week that we take our break, I think we might watch the Foo Fighters movie, the Studio 666, because we were talking about it. So, also, I have an idea for us, Tyler.
All right.
There is a series of movies. It is 4 movies, okay? It is called The Dog That Saved Christmas, The Dog That Saved Halloween, The Dog That Saved the Holidays, and then there's another one I don't remember the title of. And it is basically Home Alone, but with a dog. who's a golden retriever, and the bandits, okay, are some guy, I'm not sure who he is, and Joey Coco Diaz. And I saw some clips from them the other day, and it looks really bad, but I imagine it would be fun just watching Joey Diaz try to rob this fucking dog. And he's like, "Hey, the fucking dog, come over here." You know what I mean? So I wanted us to sit down and watch those, but I don't know when we'll ever do that. But there you go.
I don't know. Well, we'll see.
So anyway, all right. Well, that's what's coming up for the next 2 weeks is Curse and then Studio 666. And then we'll be back, and when we come back, Tyler, it'll be the end of our Chucky. We have Curse, and then we have the remake, the remake from 2019. And then we'll be done with the Chucky movies, and then I'll have to sit down and watch Chucky season 2 to start doing a podcast on that one. So
did you do one for the whole first season?
I did one for the whole first season, yeah. Which I didn't plan on it, but somehow I decided I was, and I didn't have any notes for it, so I was going based off of memory for the whole season. But this one, I would keep notes. And I still haven't decided whether or not I'm going to do the same thing, like just one episode for the whole season, or if I'm going to split it into 2 and do like the first 6 and then the last 6, or the first 5 and then the last 5, or however long it is. But yeah, so we're almost done with Little Chuck. And then I think we're going to take a while and just watch some garbage, guys. Like, I told Tyler, I'm in the mood to just, like, start picking some weird movies again. So, yeah. So
I don't know. I'm a little tired of these movies not being scary.
Yeah.
Like, when we watched Barbarian, Tom was real cryptic because he watched it before me. And I was thinking it was going to be, like, a, fear-inducing thing. And But
no, it was real good. That one part scared me real good. Oh, someone's fucking calling.
Oh, yeah. Made it there.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. See you guys next week. What are we watching? Cult of Chucky. Oh, there's a number. I don't want you to hear the number. I don't know who it is. Anyway, see you guys next week.
Hey, if you can figure out what that number is, call them.
Yeah. Link to the gaming channel, everything in the description. See you guys later.